Good evening, and welcome to the very first episode of Take Debate. I'm Tim Hiley, and this is my co-host Joe McIndoe. How are you doing tonight, Joe?
I'm good, thanks. I'm very good. It's nice to finally get this thing started.
I know, we've been planning it for days. Look, technical difficulties.
Skype. Yeah.
Skype, this message is to you directly. The owners of Skype, sort yourself out.
500 times. But anyway, so tell the people what they're getting for their money.
Well, it's probably going to be free, but we'll discuss that.
Well,
I mean, I'm getting
apart from.
paid, but you're not.
Oh, oh right, this is news to me, viewers. I might just storm off right now. Oh
Please
no, I
do.
can't.
I'll probably have a better debate. Um, my
Oh, is that bad? Is
It
that
is.
bad?
It is. It is.
Let's be honest. You'll think he's crazy because he's got some mental views. But yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Anyway, moving swiftly on.
right. On today's show, we are going to debate the hottest topics in sport. Um, so we'll start off today with Jose Mourinho's grand return to Chelsea, the worst kept secret in football. I was shocked, as I'm sure
Oh,
many of you
oh,
were, because it was, just so it was such a tightly kept secret.
oh,
Um,
I just love the Premier League. It was like, oh, we'll publish the story a day before anyone else.
I
Oh,
know that was ridiculous.
but but then
It's ridiculous.
I just love the fact they blatantly lied about it. It was like, oh, we know nothing. We know nothing about Jose's
Our finger
return.
slipped. Our finger slipped. Jose Mourinho. Does his return to Chelsea mean they are now a legitimate title contender?
Yes, of course it does. I mean, look, it's Jose Mourinho. I mean, what more do you need?
But a lot of the times, I mean, the return, they always say you should never go back. And could it possibly be a case where the expectations are too high and he just
No,
doesn't
no, no,
deliver?
no, no. But oh, come on. When Jose very rarely fails to deliver, he
Apart from
had a
this
little.
season, apart from every
No,
season at
no,
Real
no, no,
Madrid, the
no,
Champions League.
no. But to be no, what? No, no, no. I mean, he had a bit of a bad run in the actual domestic league, but he still had success with Real Madrid.
He did, no denying that. But with the squad he had, and he should have beaten Dortmund in the semi-finals this year.
But alas, he didn't, and the Germans got to Wembley. Still annoyed about that, but never mind.
And last season, their squad was better
But let,
than he could have beaten Bayern. They didn't. I mean, it went to penalties.
but
Anything
let,
can happen. But the point, yeah, we're moving. We're moving off topic. It also,
but let,
yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna. But let's see what we've got. The fans absolutely love Jose. It's like, oh, Jose's back. Oh, Jose. Oh, we love you so much. Oh, Rafa Benitez, we hate him. Get out, Rafa. Get out. Get
I'm
gone.
sure they're not speaking in that particular voice, but I get your point.
Yeah, it's
um,
like, I do feel sorry for Rafa Benitez.
I do. I mean, I saw signs on the last day of the season saying, Rafa, we forgive you. Forgive you for what? What exactly did he do wrong
Uh,
apart from win them a trophy
he
and finish
said
them in the top four?
he said some mean things about Chelsea. Oh dear, poor Chelsea. Oh, but let's be honest, he wouldn't be the first to say mean
The
things about
fact is,
Chelsea.
everyone says mean things about. It's called being a manager. It's called
Exactly.
trying to outpsych your opponent. It's nothing personal.
And it
Deal with it.
worked. And it
Deal with it,
worked.
Chelsea. Deal with it.
It it worked all too well because they were still mad years later.
I know.
But I remember I was at Stamford Bridge and it was like, oh, they didn't support. They weren't particularly supportive of the team. And they
Because the thing is, when Pochettino came in at Southampton,
yeah,
I mean,
we
we're both Saints fans, and we were both furious at Atkins going, but
oh
we
yeah,
still
never should have
supported the
happened.
team. Still supported the team, and
We
reluctantly
did.
Pochettino. But we didn't abuse him, did we? Well,
No, we
I,
didn't.
I, I actually didn't go to the following game out of
See,
partly in
this,
protest and partly because it was cold. Anyway,
yeah, weather wimp.
yeah.
But no, I don't mean to. We don't want to be disrespectful for Chelsea fans because yeah, okay, yeah. But the difference between us and I think Chelsea was that Chelsea were on Rafa Benitez back straight away, and they would sing anyone else's name other than Rafa. They would sing insulting songs at Rafa, but
Yeah, the fat
Southampton
Spanish waiter.
Southampton was just kind of we sung Nigel Atkins' name briefly, and then it was
That
and then it was
irritated me actually because I thought it was really. Um, we went too far the other way. I feel.
but what I was going to say was, and then we didn't particularly give Pochettino any credit at all. We
But we
sung the
should.
player's name, but didn't give him any. So we did it right because
No,
we didn't get in his
I
face.
personally think we still should have made more of an effort to acknowledge Adkins. I mean,
But
it annoyed me that we didn't chant his name on the last day of the season.
yeah, but that's by the by. That's kind of. But the thing with Jose, the point I made was that they love him. He can pretty much do no wrong. He could lose the first 5, 6 games, and because he's the special one, it'll be like, oh, it's fine. It's Jose. He'll pull it round. I mean, the Chelsea players have been saying, they want to work with Jose. So how can you? He's already got the dressing room, and he's not even stepped through the door yet.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. I
You
mean,
want a great manager. A great manager is one that you've got the players behind you. You cannot, as we've seen with teams like Liverpool. I don't think did Roy Hodgson really have Liverpool dressing room.
no, I mean that was always the thing.
I mean,
He couldn't cope with the egos. I mean, I think
uh,
Moyes will suffer the same problem at Man United. I
did did
mean,
Raf did Rafa Benitez have the dressing room? Probably not.
I mean, everything
So,
that came out of Chelsea and Liverpool, to be honest, um, is very positive. You know, they say all the right things,
oh, but
but
they always
behind closed doors,
that's called media training. That is media training right there. If you say something bad about a manager, you will get fined the next morning. I tell you this. Um, but this is the difference. To have a successful team, you need a manager that the players at least respect and will play for. If the players disagree with the manager, then you are screwed.
yeah, basically.
Because
Um,
welcome to star power.
but I mean, that does go to show how much power the players have nowadays. I mean, the fact is, I don't think the likes of Lampard, the likes of Terry, I don't think they've been truly happy since Mourinho left. I mean, I don't think Mourinho should have left. I think he went in very dodgy circumstances, and I'm absolutely astounded that he went back after the way he was treated.
Well,
But
I'm
having
surprised.
said that, I think that now he's back, in answer to the original question, I think without a shadow of a doubt, they are now I personally think they've won the league.
Oh, that's a big step. Well, to be fair, now if we, I was going to say that's a big statement, but if we look at it, you might be right because Man City, they are inconsistent. Okay, they won the title in great circumstances. It was fantastic to see Man United get
On
stiffed.
that
That
moment,
was that
Aguero. It's
that is
literally one of the best moments in.
Aguero. That was
That
it.
was Martin Tyler's reaction would never be beaten. It was incredible. It was an incredible
It
moment. But it's
it
just
was.
very disappointing that
But yeah, so Man City inconsistent.
I think Mancini was treated really harshly because after the okay,
You lost to Wigan, mate. I'm sorry, you lost to Wigan.
is that a sackable offence now?
Well, I would remind you that Nigel Atkins lost to Wigan. He got sacked.
Not after the Wigan game. He
No,
got
he
sacked
did.
about 5 months later. But
Yeah, but anyway,
I let facts get in the way.
it's the curse of Wigan. Anyway, yeah. So you lost to Wigan. The problem with football is it's a dog eat dog world. The longest after you get past Sir Alex Ferguson and Wenger and even Moyes, the longest running managers are more like 18 months to 2 years.
It's scary how I think the sixth or I think the sixth longest serving manager is Brendan Rodgers. He's been there less than a year. He's been at Liverpool less than a year, and he is the longest serving, one of the longest serving managers in the Premier League. That to me is terrifying, absolutely terrifying.
It's not particularly good at all.
You
Because
know
how can you do anything with a club in fear for your job?
exactly.
I mean, every little screw up could be your last, especially if you're with Man City or any of the big clubs. But anyway, back to the original point. Man City are inconsistent, and you know, they need to learn how to win properly and do it right. Arsenal couldn't win a raffle if there were two tickets in the bag. Um, they would pick the wrong one. Um, Manchester United.
In fairness to Arsenal, which I hate being, it is a, and I know you want higher aspirations than this, but to finish in the top four every
Oh,
single year
come on!
since
All right,
Arsene
all right.
Wenger got there, that is a hell of an achievement. I
Come
mean,
on! All right. Okay, I've got to jump in on this. I give you that finishing fourth in the Premier League every single year, pretty much without fail, at least fourth, is an incredible achievement, right?
yeah,
That is a fantastic achievement. But, Mr. Wenger, right? Let me spell this out to you.
so I'm sure he's
Getting
watching.
place, getting fourth place is not equivalent, I repeat, is in no way equivalent to winning the Champions League. It is not.
I'm
Get a
sure he's
grip.
actually watching this. I'm sure he's glued to every word, and I'm sure your opinion means more than all these other
Oh
you
no.
know.
Sure, I'm sure if you ask him, he'll say he didn't see it.
He, I did not see the programming. Uh,
But moving swiftly on,
I
let, Tottenham. There is no way they're going to win the title. I'm saying Tottenham because we're getting to the real contender here. The only team that can stand in the way of Chelsea next season is Manchester United. And you know what? I think they'll struggle, and I'm sure you agree with me on this
I
one.
do. I
That
totally do. I mean, I think that Moyes. There are far too many question marks about Moyes for my liking. He hasn't
no,
managed the
I
big egos. You've got the problem with lack of European experience. Well, okay, that doesn't help in the league, but that
but
sort of stature. And the other thing that I've got a problem with is he hasn't won anything in with
no,
Everton all the years he's been at. I mean, when
but
Ferguson came down from Aberdeen, he'd won, several
but
trophies and whatever. Moyes has won none at
But
Everton.
the now this is now okay. There's two schools of argument here that how can you fail when you've got a squad like Manchester United? But the opposite to that is that basically Sir Alex, the thing that you have to admit, you got to give him credit. He has built the side each time, you know, yeah, every phase he's had to build the side again and again and again. And
I mean,
we've
when you
got
look at it, it's a remarkable achievement. And I don't care what anyone says, Alex Ferguson is the greatest manager of all time. That,
uh,
for my money, that he will never be beaten. He is to,
mm,
to do what he has done, like you
I would.
say, rebuild the team year after year. Legacy after legacy. He's had what, probably he's rebuilt the team 4 or 5 times, and each time it's better than the one that preceded it. I mean, for instance, he's got a brilliant record at building teams from the youth department. I mean, to have a youth team consisting of Scholes, Giggs, the Neville brothers, Beckham.
Mm.
I mean, he knows how to get.
But
And
oh come on.
the other thing I think will never be beaten, because I think there will never be another one like him, and I think this is probably why they've gone for Moyes, because I think he's in a similar vein. Is that his mentality is, if you think you're bigger than the club, you ain't, you're
I mean
out.
that
That
that's
I
the
thought was brilliant.
that's the right attitude. That's a good attitude to have. But I would have loved to have seen a bigger. I would have loved to have seen Jose come in That's what I was expecting. I was expecting Jose to go to Manchester
Yeah,
United
yeah, I would.
because I was thinking any manager. See, this is what they got to deal with. Any manager that comes to Manchester United has to deal with the shadow of Sir Alex. Everything this new man does, Moyes, um, is gonna be compared to Sir Alex. So it's a poison chalice because if he wins, he should win because it's Manchester United and that's what Sir Alex would have done. If he loses, it will be what would Sir Alex do?
I think it will
It'll be
take years for the shadow of Fergie to be lifted. I think in a way it's a mistake that he's still staying on as a sort of ambassador of the club or whatever because he's still there. He's still.
he's on the board.
You wonder whether he's going to be like a backseat driver.
Now I get your bets on people because I'm about to make a prediction. Get your money down. I think that Moyes will struggle. He will be out the door by Christmas, and
Or no, no,
and
no, not by Christmas, by March. I think they'll give him till March
and
because
yeah, and then,
you know don't know how they're going to do in the FA Cup. Because I think if they finish the season with a trophy, I think that'll count as a success in my book.
uh,
Because I
yeah,
think
and no people, and no, just to be clear, the Community Shield does not count as a trophy.
if he loses the Community Shield to
Oh, that
Wigan,
would be so
then
funny.
and no
That'd be
offense
so
to
funny.
no offense to both Wigan fans out there.
Ooh, ooh.
Sorry. But no offense to Wigan fans, but you shouldn't be beating Man United in a Community Shield. In fact, you shouldn't really be beating Man City. So fair play to you. In the FA Cup, you know that was a remarkable achievement. But
And it was great to see it happen because let's be honest, Wigan should have had a penalty 2 seconds before. So fair play to you, well done. Um, but I will say, and I don't want to keep getting off the debate, but anyway, Wigan are going to struggle next season because they've got European commitments, something chronic, and
yep,
they've got a full
like
championship. So
Birmingham, like
they are
Birmingham.
going to. I'm sorry, fans, but you're going to struggle. So get ready for a couple years in the championship.
At
I think.
least, to be honest, I would not be surprised if both them and QPR, or at least one of them, did a Wolves and went straight through. I think the only one that will bounce straight back is Reading.
But yeah, anyway, so
In part because of my bias toward Nigel Atkins, but in part because it's practically the same squad that won the league 2 years ago.
but yeah, I mean that's a slightly different issue. But what I will say is that Nigel is an excellent manager, and with a little bit of investment, with a little bit of belief around the club, which Nigel seems to be able to get out of the players, um, they'll go far.
And also on the Chelsea front, getting back to the topic because we've gone way
Yeah,
off
yeah.
track. Back on the Chelsea topic, it also depends on who they sign. I mean, I saw two predicted lineups in the one in the Mirror and one in the Sun for Jose Mourinho's first game in charge, and both of them were wildly different. I mean, they had one new player that they had picked the same. One had gone with Lewandowski and Modric, and the other one had gone with Ronaldo, Cavani, uh,
Ooh, ooh.
Xavi Alonso, a new centre back. And it's just sort of like they're worlds apart. You don't know who they're going to get. I think Lewandowski is likely to go to Bayern Munich. I think Cavani will go somewhere. I have no idea where. Probably Monaco because everyone seems to be going to Monaco. It seems to be the in place to be. Um, in fact, I might go to Monaco. You never know.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, I can just imagine. Yeah, you're gonna get so much money from this that you'll go to Monaco. Help him out. Let's all start a fund called the Help Tim Go to Monaco Fund. I th-
and stay
I,
there and never get
I,
in contact again.
I think I think it's a noble cause. So please leave a comment with your pledges, and 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 yeah, give your Twitter handle out at this point
At Binboy92.
at Binboy92. See, it's that hard that he needs a bit, just a rubbish name.
And how many followers do you have?
Moving on, moving
Moving
on.
on. Uh, Chelsea. I think, to be honest, I think the first thing Mourinho should do is get rid of Torres.
Um, because let's be honest, he's not done a whole lot for Chelsea. Mistake since what has Torres done since Liverpool?
God knows.
What has
I
he
think he
actually
scored like
done?
7 Premier League goals or something like that.
Now, Not bad. You
I,
know, Ad, when
I think he got 23 goals in all competitions. He got a lot in Europe, but nothing really elsewhere. I think if you could get Cavani 40 million plus Torres, I think you'd be that would be. I mean, I always thought the ideal move would be 50 million plus Torres for Falcao because it would be a win-win situation for everyone. Torres will go back to his spiritual home of Atletico Madrid.
the sad truth is that not even Rafa Benitez could get the best out of Torres in the second coming, if you know what I mean.
Mm. I mean,
So,
I don't. This is an interesting fact. Torres was actually the only person ever to be the holders of the World Cup, European Championship, Champions League, and Europa League.
well,
Because
that
when they
might happen.
obviously won the Europa League, there was obviously a week before, 10 days before the Champions League final. So technically, at that time, they were holders of both Champions League and Europa League, and Torres was also holders of the European Championship and the World Cup. So he was the only player ever to be holders of all four
Well,
competitions at one
well,
time.
well.
That's
I,
nuts,
I'm
considering he's
sorry, but
awful and contributed to none of them.
I'm sorry. That's fine. But yeah, as you say, A, what have you done, and B, what have you done for me lately? It's all well and good to score 40 goals in one season, for example, using that as an, but then if you score zero in the next season, you
At the
know,
end of the day, for my money, you're only as good as your last game. I mean, for instance, everyone's saying Joe Hart's, the best keeper ever or whatever,
oh come on,
or the
look,
best English keeper and the best English
let,
keeper.
let me spell this out, people. Let me spell this out.
Hmm.
If you are English, you cannot, by default, be the best goalkeeper in the world. You cannot. It doesn't make any sense. It is an oxymoron.
You're a moron. Um,
Really? Have we descended to that already? Have we?
I'm sorry, I just couldn't resist that one. Um,
Oh, yeah, that's the level of jokes, people. That is the level of his jokes. Please send him to Monaco, please.
Send me to America so he can watch, so I can get a season ticket for uh, the basketball, so I could go to the NBA playoffs, which we're moving on to in
We
just a
ah,
tick.
you see, that's a nice link. Let's
That is.
pretend. Let,
Hey,
let's let's pretend like we meant it and nobody will notice. Yeah.
yeah,
So what a great link, Tim. And
thank you.
by the way, and by the
Subtle.
way, yes, it was. It was as subtle as a brick through a car window, right? Um. So there was a small matter of the Eastern Conference finals.
Yes.
Pacers, the Pacers couldn't quite handle the heat.
Hey, they were outpaced. Um,
They were.
I mean, I've let's start off by giving dues to the Pacers because I think to get to game seven against the world champions, although incidentally that irritates me because why are you calling it a world championship when only one country takes part?
Oh
It's
no,
not
no,
a
wait a minute.
world championship. It
Come
is
on.
a US championship, not a world championship. Get a British team, get an Argentinian team, get a Brazilian team, get a Spanish team, then we'll talk. Until
Look,
then, it is just an American
no,
championship.
be fair to the
I
Americans.
don't like
I
being
mean,
fair.
it is technically world because Canada kind of counts. I mean,
Canada kind of
they're kind of
counts.
yeah, Canada kind of counts. It's kind of part of the world. It's not America, so it's different.
But yeah, back to the Pacers. Fair play. Getting to game seven against Miami Heat.
Yep.
Tremendous achievement.
Mm,
I mean, I don't
mm.
think anyone well, I didn't expect that. I thought the Miami Heat would win in probably 6 games. Uh, but I think that they've done tremendously well. I think I
But
think Roy Hibbert had a sensational series. I think I mean 7'2", getting all those rebounds, obviously expected to, but the blocks, is getting the points production. I mean, he's not typically a points scoring machine, but he got several. You know, he was averaging, I think, at like 18 points a game in the last 7 games. I mean, that's phenomenal for a man of his size and stature. Um, but
But let's be honest. When push comes to shove, they they were outplayed. I mean, I'll be honest and upfront. There's no secrets here, folks. I'm fairly new to basketball, but even I could see from the statistics, if you give up the ball so much, I mean, what was it? 12 turnovers to Miami's 6.
No, it was way more than that. They got 15 turnovers by half time.
Which,
Um,
come on,
I mean,
you
that is
can
pathetic. But the point is, I think part of it was the superb defensive work from the Miami Heat. But on the flip side,
you I mean, to give up
a lot
15
of it
turn
was very, very sloppy.
yeah,
And the
this is what I'm getting onto. To give up 15 turnovers, okay, some of it will be good defense, but to give up 15 turnovers, you've been sloppy somewhere along the line, and you
mm,
need to treat the ball with more respect, because you will not win basketball games. I can tell you this now because I've watched basketball, and it's a very fast-paced game. You will not win basketball without the ball. It's
no.
impossible, and they will run you ragged. You know,
And the fact is, if you give up that amount of turnovers against a Minnesota Timberwolves or a Charlotte Bobcats, no offense to any Charlotte Bob, I'm not going to preface everything by saying no offense because I mean no offense to anyone. I like everyone,
we love you. We love you.
but
It's a yeah.
no disrespect to those teams. But there's a difference in class here
Mm.
between
It's a
the
it's a
Charlotte
bit
Bobcats and the Miami Heat. You
to
do
put it.
not give that amount of turnovers to the Miami Heat when you've got LeBron James, you've got Dwayne Wade, even though he's been suffering with his knee, Chris Bosh, who incidentally had a shocking series,
It,
but
it's yeah.
I think he's missed 28 of his last 34 shots. I mean, that is stupidly bad.
It's a bit like for those football fans from Britain. It's a bit like the difference between giving the ball up to Portsmouth, League Two, sucks, and giving the ball to Manchester United. Portsmouth will probably miss. Manchester United, however, will not
Well,
miss.
the thing is, if you give the ball away to Portsmouth or the equivalent of, you are more likely to win the ball straight back
Yes, yes.
because you can outpace them. You can get a challenge in or whatever against against Man United or a Miami Heat in terms of basketball. You do not get many
To be
chances against them.
to
I mean,
exactly.
I was at the Olympics, and it's almost like the US dream team, the superstars of LeBron James, Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, Kevin Durant, all these top players against uh, Australia.
Mm.
And if you give away the ball, I'm sorry, you're not getting it back.
You
You
see,
are not getting it back.
I watched the game. I watched UK versus America, the US, and for like 2 quarters we were doing really well. At least 2 3 quarters we were doing really well. But then eventually we started to miss. They started to hit, and there was no contest in the end.
The USA didn't play Britain at the Olympics.
Not the Olympics, but there was pre-season.
Yeah, the
There was
yeah
a
the
there was
quad yeah
there
yeah
was a couple of just to be clear, there was a couple of games before the Olympics,
yeah. I
in
just
which
wanted to
the
clarify
BBC
that
showed.
for our
Yeah,
viewers.
see, that's the difference, because they were good for they were, top of the game for for the equivalent of, let's say, you know, what is it, an hour?
Yeah,
No,
each
well,
game's 48 minutes, but obviously with all the
40
timeouts, it takes like forever. But um,
48 minutes, but the class will out. And that was at the O2 as well. Well, no, actually,
yeah,
I think the funny thing was they started at this dedicated basketball arena, and then they decided to move it to the O2.
yeah, work that one out.
So, mm, mm. But yeah. So do you think the UK will ever get to the level it needs to kind of compete with other countries and compete with the American leagues? Like, for example, obviously the Premier League is one of the best in the world, if not the best. But right now, let's be honest, the UK basketball scene You don't hear anything about it.
I think in part that's because of the time difference. I mean, I think if there, let's be honest here. If the basketball was at a more sociable time, our time, I think it would be a lot bigger. I think the fact it's on Sky Sports now means a massive step, a massive step. I mean, I watch it every Sunday night. It's a really fun, and they really explain it well. To the people that maybe aren't familiar with the game, the Pacers against the Heat, because the Pacers against the Heat, both teams are incredible. I mean, the Pacers are an incredibly great defensive team, get lots of rebounds, steals, blocks, whatever. But they're still, so the Miami Heat had to be on top of their game to beat them. In the Olympics, I was there for the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and finals, and a lot of the time I felt that they could easily take it up another 2 or 3 notches because they are that good. The USA against Argentina in the semi-finals was 109-83. The final was
Blowout.
107 to 100.
Mm. Slight difference. Slight difference.
I have to say though, even though the difference in terms of points was greater in the semi-finals, I was really impressed with Australia in the quarterfinals, even though they lost by more. They lost 119 to 86 instead of 109 to 83. I was a lot more impressed with them than I was.
Mm. So what did they? Did they? Would you say the US turned it on even in the finals?
Yes, because the final against Spain, I think they could have turned up maybe one more notch and they did in the fourth quarter. But Spain, with Pau Gasol in particular, was superb, and it's a shame that he's struggled so much under Mike D'Antoni at LA this year. Um, but he was phenomenal. Marc Gasol, who got Defensive Player of the Year this year, had a great game, and it was just an overall team effort. They really pushed the US, but
Mm.
it was a really close game. It wasn't a blowout win like the semi-finals against Argentina. Blowout win. Quarterfinals against Australia. Blowout win. Spain, very close. I mean, seriously close.
So while we're on the subject of blowouts, let's talk about a certain national side that are,
That
shall
was
we say?
contrived. That was contrived.
Oh come on! Oh come on! Viewers, take pity on me because we're about to talk about England national side. Roy Hodgson.
Wake me up when it's over.
Well, just to be
I
for those that don't know, England are allegedly one of the best teams in the world. They are not. They suck. Secondly,
Is that
Roy
the technical
Hodgson.
term?
What? They suck.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the technical
Yes.
description.
Yes,
That's
Tim.
very
Journalistic of me.
yeah,
I
very
know.
journalistic.
They are an average. Well, they're an average side. I'll be fair. Roy Hodgson refuses to pick from anyone outside the top six. So, for those who are American, um, have you heard of Southampton? Probably not. Uh, let's be honest.
Probably have for the Titanic.
If you've basically if you've not heard of the team, my American friends, then Roy Hodgson doesn't pick from them. Basically,
I think which make which brings on to the question of the day for me, is Roy Hodgson a yes man for the FA?
well, one of two things has happened here. Either he is a yes man because it is the 150th anniversary of
Hmm.
the FA, and let's be honest, who's easier to sell to people around the world? Wayne Rooney playing every week, Frank Lampard playing every week, or is it or Ricky Lambert, for example, and Adam Lafondra from Reading and Southampton? Um, so And the other story, the other side is that Roy Hodgson is just, as I put it, too chicken to pick from the outside the top six.
Yeah,
I
but
tell you,
I think in a way that leads. I think in a way that sort of leads back to
he,
whether he's a yes man, because he picks the players that are going to be commercial. You
yeah,
know, I
oh,
mean, why else, apart from
he,
age, why would you pick Danny Wongol Welbeck ahead of Ricky Lambert, who was the top English goal scorer? I mean, in the Premier League last season, I mean, it doesn't matter about
how old
age
he
and
is,
whatever,
I
it
know,
should be about picking the best players
because because Ricky
available.
because Ricky Lambert's got more than goals.
Mm.
He will set up goals. He will find a good pass. You know, he will get involved. He's not just one of those stereotypical. He's not like Andy Carroll who will basically whack the
Get,
ball to
yeah,
whack the
get
ball to Andy
hoof and
Carroll
hope.
and sit on the floor. Let's take to the World Cup. Let's take to the World Cup. Sorry, Newcastle. You know, I know Newcastle fans will love Andy Carroll and all that jazz. Okay, fine.
Well, to
Um,
be fair, they
but
might not after the way he left.
but anyway, when we took him to the World Cup, when we took him to play for England, what happened? What we did was whack the ball forward. We
In
just you knew exactly
giving credit to Andy Carroll, that was one hell of a header against, I think it was Sweden. That was one hell of a header.
but my point is you knew exactly where the ball was going. You knew exactly what they were going to do. But the thing with Ricky Lambert is you don't know that because he will set up play. He's not just stood there in the box. He can cause you trouble with his head or he can make sure somebody else causes you trouble. But Roy Hodgson won't pick because
Of the
I
badge
just
he wears on a weekly basis.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And
And do you think if Ricky Lambert was playing as the same age, but was but in the summer we'd sold him to, say, Liverpool,
yes,
do you think he'd be
probably
playing? Do you think he'd be
probably
picked?
if he was playing for Liverpool, if he was playing in the first team for Liverpool, then yes,
Yeah.
yes, he would have been picked because you know Liverpool are still a respected club, and he does still pick
And
them.
Roy Hodgson used to work there, but that's beside the
But
point.
it's not really beside the point because to your point about being a yes man, Roy Hodgson to me doesn't seem that he could handle the egos.
I
Um,
don't. I think that was proven at Liverpool.
he had success. He had success at Fulham. Congratulations to him and all that jazz. But then as soon as he got to Liverpool, it all went to pot.
Yeah.
And
And
then
then he went to West Brom and did again very well, and then moved to England. He seems to just use clubs as a stepping
so
stone.
so why does he not understand the value of picking from the smaller club?
And also, I mean, it's not just even. I mean, I've been saying this for a year. I mean, I personally don't see why he doesn't give players in the Championship a go. I mean, other national teams do.
Oh, because well, a case in point, last time we played Brazil, I seem to remember because I recorded. For those that don't know, you can check out my YouTube channel, Joe Saints Joe One. Ricky Lambert is better than Wayne Rooney, and here's where I explain that basically Brazil picked, I think Julius Cesar from QPR, their goalkeeper, and they were bottom of the league at the time.
Yep.
So why is it why is a QPR good enough for the five-time World Cup champions? And but yet Ricky Lambert, top English goalscorer, isn't good enough for a side that can barely string two passes together without giving the ball away.
Yep. I mean, I was uh, I was talking to someone just the other day about this very topic, and I said, well, he doesn't pick players outside the top six. And first he said, well, what about Ben Foster? I was just like, well, that surely doesn't count on the basis that let's go through the top six. Man United goalkeeper David De Gea. Man
Hmm.
City goalkeeper Joe Hart obviously always gets picked, despite the fact he
Yep.
isn't as great as everyone says he is. Chelsea Petr Cech.
Mm.
Arsenal, I don't even know who Arsenal's goalkeeper is anymore because they seem to change it so regularly. Tottenham, Hugo Lloris. Everton, Tim Howard.
Well, I'm not seeing any English in there, so
So he has to pick outside the top six on that one because there's literally no alternative. If he can help it, he will not pick outside the top six. So
I
it's
mean,
as simple as that. I mean, he picked Andy Carroll because technically he's still a member of Liverpool, and okay, Liverpool is actually finished seventh, so it's not strictly the top six; it's more of the top seven. Um,
but they've got the credibility, they've got the
yeah,
history, so that will buy you, that will get you in.
yeah,
But the stupid thing is, we pick players that don't even play for their clubs.
yeah.
Well, you know, you're not good enough. You're not good enough to beat your foreign friend, but yet you're good enough to play for the national side, who's supposed to be able to qualify for a World Cup.
I mean, I like Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Don't get me wrong, but he doesn't play week in week out.
Oh, so are
Um,
we
I
that?
I like loads of players, but in the England squad, but a lot of them don't play every week. They're not guaranteed, you know. Whereas Ricky Lambert with Saints, he is the first name on the team sheet.
So as an argument with a as I mean, okay, Danny Welbeck. I had arguments with people on various, you know, platforms. Uh, it was Danny Welbeck at the time had one goal and he got picks. Now, if that doesn't scream, I'm a Man United player, I have a right to play, what does?
Yeah,
Quite frankly. But yeah, as I was saying, if that doesn't scream, I have a right to play, what does? You know, Ricky Lambert, you know, now 14 goals for the season, uh, uh, 15 goals for the season. Danny Welbeck, 2 goals for the season. Okay, fine, he played well for England, but that's beside the point.
the point is we should be picking the best 23 players available at that time.
Otherwise, what's the
Simple
point?
as.
What?
I mean, I wouldn't be averse to picking players from the Championship. I
No,
really wouldn't because we
because
have a good pool of talent in the Championship. I mean, uh, Wilfried Zaha signed for Man United, obviously. I mean, you got Peter Whittingham of Cardiff, who I've
mm.
rated for years. I was going to say a Watford player, but all of them are Italians.
But yeah, I mean, okay, the championship as a whole may not be the best suited for England, but you do find some diamonds in the rough. You do find talent that is just too good for the championship. I mean,
Yeah,
for goodness sake, Southampton themselves have brought through 2 players that are better than the championship.
I mean,
No,
I personally,
3 players that are better than the championship.
yeah, I personally, if I was England manager, I mean, obviously, disclaimer, we're both big Saints fans, so we do have an element of bias towards
Yes,
Saints.
and to be fair to us, we do see them play every week. So
So we know how good they are. I mean, it's kind of like the best. It's a almost like a secret of how good they are because no one outside of Southampton really seems to appreciate it. But I mean,
maybe.
we got Luke Shaw,
Mm,
amazing left back, and he will be the England left back for many years to come after Ashley Cole retires, and possibly. I mean, I do feel a bit sorry for Leighton Baines because he's waited all these years for the number 3 jersey to come off Ashley Cole, and now when Ashley Cole's coming to the end of his career, along comes a younger, better version. You do feel sorry for him, and
yeah.
incidentally wonder whether Luke Shaw could develop into a Gareth Bale more attacking player. But you don't know that at this time. Um, but obviously, you got Luke Shaw, got Nathaniel Klein, Jack Cork, who played at the Olympics, Ricky Lambert, Jay Rodriguez, and Lallana. That's 6 top class English players
Mm,
who are
mm.
better than their
I mean, all right, as
as
well,
good or better than the positions that players that hold those positions currently. And if you and to avoid Saints bias,
Adam
where
Lafondra.
and where's Adam Lafondra? Where's Nathan Dyer? Where's what are players from uh,
Yeah. I mean,
smaller clubs? I mean, you look at players from the Nathan Dyers, the
I mean, let's be honest. If I can just jump in,
yeah, okay,
when you play teams like San Marino, okay, come on, anyone from our league could beat San Marino.
To be
Anyone
honest,
from
anyone from League One.
anyone from League Two, I would fancy to beat San Marino. So why are you not taking a chance? Playing players like Adam Lallana, playing players like Adam Lafondra, you know,
I mean, the thing is, I think
you've got nothing to lose.
had you picked Ricky to play against San Marino, Ricky would have scored, and that would have given him such confidence. And
But then,
it's a good
that,
chance to showcase what he can do, and it gives him confidence. It gives him,
but then the critics would have said, ah, well, it's only San Marino,
yeah.
and
But sorry, carry on.
the critics would have said it's only San Marino, and Roy Hodgson probably would have thought the same thing. And
But
but
it's yeah,
it would have it would have given him his moment, which for all his hard work, let's talk sentiment for a second. Ricky Lambert flipping deserves.
yeah, he does,
But
and
anyway,
it's
we'd
just
appreciate.
frustrating that. In answer to the original question, is Roy Hodgson a yes man? Absolutely, because I mean it speaks volumes that we're releasing 3 different kits uh, available for sale in the space of a year. 3 different home
Cha-ching,
kits. You know,
cha-ching, cha-ching,
it's all
cha-ching,
about
cha-ching.
cashing in. It's all about the big players wearing the merchandise. I mean, for instance, because of his shirt that he wears on a weekly basis, Danny Welbeck will have greater chance of selling shirts, for England
Because let's be
than
honest,
Ricky Lambert.
Because let's be honest, Manchester United global brand. Let's
Yeah,
not kid ourselves. Man United are floating on the New York Stock Exchange. You see the difference. One has a global presence. One is just a good football team.
but what do you want? Do you want to win World Cups and be uh, have great English talent from good,
I
honest
think
teams, or do you
I
want?
think we need to stop kidding. We need to stop kidding ourselves. England aren't going to win a World Cup. Why are they not going to win a World Cup? Because their policy right now sucks. The team themselves. Look,
The
it
other
is more.
reason, can I just cut in there quickly?
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
my point is that if you replace the likes of Danny Welbeck, Andy Carroll, the ones that may have inflated opinions of themselves, shall we say, and go back to the grassroots, humble players, I think we'd have more chance of winning a World Cup. I really do, because I think it will give them a chance to showcase what they can do. And they would live and die for. I mean, it goes back to what we were saying the other day. Would you rather, in terms of Premier League, would you
Mm,
rather be a championship side with 11 players that would live and die for the club,
mm,
or would you rather be, a lower mid-table Premier League club with 11 mercenaries in your side? I mean, it's the same with England. Would you rather have a good, honest squad full of good, honest players, or would you rather have
mm.
a load of talented individuals that can't gel as a team and are overpaid, pampered prima
But
donnas? I mean, it was
but
shown at the last World Cup. Where was Rooney? Where was Rooney in the last World Cup? I mean,
I don't know.
I
You're
had
you're
if I was
preaching to the
in
choir.
South Africa last World Cup, I would have been putting up missing posters of him. Where is this player?
Have you seen this man?
He looks a bit like Shrek.
Exactly. Yeah. Just we couldn't find a picture of Rooney, so we just put up Shrek.
Although to be fair, you can't really miss pictures of Rooney.
Yeah. But no, because he's plastered everywhere. But let's get to our last our last main topic of the evening. What was it now? It was we've done that. So
Quick
it was the
fire
quick
questions.
fire round.
It was announced today that the NFL will be getting a third English game next season, not this coming season, but the following season. Will this lead to a British franchise? And don't just say, I hope so. Do you think it will? And if so, when? What sort of timescale are we talking here?
Oh. Having done my university project on this, I can pretty much say the word is yes. It will lead to a London franchise. I would say within 10 years. Quite frankly, nobody's willing to commit to anything yet. The groundwork hasn't actually been done. Nobody's actually figured out logistics, but everyone wants one. The NFL owners want it, as we've seen. They're all very complimentary of London, blah blah blah, and it will make them money. So
I'm going to say, me
10
obviously,
years,
I
10
don't
years.
I don't have, the insight you have. I'm just going on what I've, read and what I've heard. I'm going within 6 years
Okay, all right, we've got that.
because the Jaguars has signed a 4-year deal to play games at Wembley, and if that is the franchise that's going to be relocated to London,
Mm.
it
I
would
mean, to
make
be
sense to cash in on the back of.
What I'd be interested to see, what I would be interested, I know this is a quick fire round, but what I'd be interested to see is the NFL make a brave decision to put on a rubbish game. Quite frankly, put on the two worst sides in because if you notice every Wembley Series game, it's somebody like New England Patriots versus the Dolphins, New York versus the Dolphins, New England versus St. Louis. Um,
But
you know,
I think it would be a brave decision to put on a rubbish game of like uh the the
the
Dolphins
Dolphins
against.
versus the Jaguars, for example. That would be, yeah,
But on the flip side of that, I would say the other thing they would need to do. I mean, incidentally, if you notice that it is always the weaker team's home game
yeah,
that gets
but it's
sacrificed because
it,
I mean it's the
it's
same.
rather
It's the same with basketball when it came over here in January. It was um the New York Knicks at the
mm,
Detroit Pistons because at the end of the day, New York is going to sell out every single game.
it's
It's
rather
Madison
stu-
Square Gardens. They will sell out every single game. The
it's rather
Pistons won't. So it's an opportunity to get ticket revenue for the weaker teams. It is an opportunity to get a full house for the weaker teams. And I imagine it's the same with your NFL. You know,
it's it's rather stupid because what you get, I think you've been to some NFL stuff, but what you
I
get
haven't. I'm
is
going this September.
you're going. But what you'll find is that the home team, even though it's a home team, if you've got somebody like the Patriots versus St. Louis, even though St. Louis are the home team, you'll get the
Patriot
Patriots
fans, yeah. I mean,
faithful, yeah, and
for
you
instance,
know,
with the Knicks and the Pistons, it was all Knicks fans. But the fact is that the ticket revenue will go
mm,
largely to the weaker side.
so
The home side, and the fact is they will jump at the chance because um they'll jump at the chance to agree to it because it's a guaranteed full house.
mhm,
The
yeah,
away team, the bigger team, will jump at it because
more
it,
exposure,
yeah, in part more exposure, but also because if it's the Knicks had to travel to Detroit and play in front of a packed Detroit faithful, then they're going to have, a harder time. Although that didn't really transpire, as the other game was a blowout win for New York as well, and because the Pistons were poor. The fact is, though, the bigger team will jump at the chance because they're going to be travelling to the place regardless. They're going to
yeah,
be travelling in the plane regardless. And, fact is, it's just in a different direction. I mean, they've flown from Miami to Los Angeles. Pretty much as far as you can go
yeah,
in
but
America, and back in time for 2 days later. So I mean, and it's probably the equivalent of a flight from England to America, flying across America. So
about 8 hours.
yeah, so about 8 hours. So it's just in a different direction. Roger Federer losing in the quarterfinals of the French Open. Is this the end of his Grand Slam winning power, as it were? Or
Right,
do you think he's got another couple of Grand Slams left in him?
in short, Roger Federer equals legend, and no, it's not the end of his Grand Slam reign. He's got at least one more in there somewhere. At least
But
one
I
more.
mean, You
If
look at the
I tell you what,
injuries he's had. I mean, you've also got Andy Murray, you got Djokovic. I mean, Wilfred Songa's coming, is coming on strong at the moment. Nadal.
Federer has had a great career. I would suggest if it really is getting close to the end of his career, the best thing he could possibly do would be to get out while he's on top. Go and win. Go and put your heart and soul into winning Wimbledon. Win Wimbledon and get out.
That's never going to happen.
No, but it's
I
like
mean,
the
look at
old.
Sampras. I mean, look at Sampras.
I mean, it's like Sir Alex said though. Get out while you're on top. It's fine.
Yeah, but Sir Alex is a different breed.
No, but he didn't particularly quit, and I don't think he will quit. But still, it's good advice.
Yeah, it's not bad advice. I just don't think he'll listen to it. And to be fair, I don't think he'll be watching this
No, no.
to hear your
But anyway,
stunning
so
advice.
that is my quick fire response to that question.
My quickfire response is it was the French Open which he always struggles at. I
Mm.
don't think we should read too much into this. I think give him Wimbledon. See if he gets knocked out in the quarterfinals or round of 16s at Wimbledon, then I think there'll be cause for alarm.
So, is there any? Do we have any more for any more? What's the third and final quick fire question?
Roy Hibbert's comments on when was it, Saturday night.
Right
For
now, for
for
the
for, for, for the viewers, after the game against the Miami Heat, he said this.
Game 3 here, I really felt that I let Paul down in terms of having his back when LeBron was scoring in the post or getting to the paint because they stretched me out so much, no homo, and
yeah, to me that says it's kind of like making an innuendo and going, no pun intended or nothing. I didn't mean it like that. He just basically saying that he was stretched all over the court and he didn't mean it in a homosexual way. Probably hoping for a laugh, and he probably got one as well, as you
Mm.
say. It wasn't meant as a home to me. It wasn't meant as a homosexual slur. So we should just get on with it. Just
And
it's
he got, I think, a what, $75,000 dollar fine or something like
dollar
that.
fine.
I mean, I think that's a bit excessive considering it was
It
essentially
is.
a
Oh,
joke,
oh,
that
come
went
on.
wrong. Well, and
I,
it wasn't even a joke; it was more of a clarification of
it was
meaning.
just it was just I just no homo. I don't mean it in that way. I just
I
think
mean,
it
his
just
wording was poor, but I mean, it goes back to a very good point that I saw made on Twitter, is that it's perfectly acceptable for some, and it's not just acceptable but applauded if you declare it the other way and come out as as
I am
homosexual or
gay.
whatever, say I am gay or whatever. But if you deny it, or if say go the opposite way and declare the fact that you're heterosexual, it's
It's kind
you
of odd.
it's almost double standards in a way,
Mm, mm. But I just think if he just held his hand up and apologized,
which
that
he did.
that is sufficient. Yeah, so that is to me sufficient enough.
Yeah. So that concludes our very first
Hmm.
edition of Take Debate. I'm Tim Hiley. This has been Joe McIndoe. Follow us on
And
Twitter um,
McIndoe 16 at McIndoe 16.
at Bimble92.
Yep.
And
And leave a comment, please subscribe. We would really appreciate if you would. Well, no, let me say. So please subscribe for more debates like this. We're planning to do a bit of music debate and TV and entertainment debate as well. Coming up on.
his music taste is shocking.
Um, no, 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 they're not. They're top quality. But we'll get
Um,
more on.
but what the aim is to do either daily or every other day sporting debates like this, debating the hottest topics in sport
From around the world. Because I mean,
from
as we've
around the
seen,
world. I mean, it's the NBA finals starts tomorrow at 2 a.m. on Sky Sports One.
and I'm
Um,
sure we'll cover the World Series as it happens as
the
well.
World Series that
Yeah.
features all of one country.
Oh, and
Two if you
Canada,
two if you
and
include
Canada.
America's. To include Canada, yeah.
We can't forget the Canadians, for goodness sake.
They've got
They gave,
one team. One
they
team.
So thank you for watching, and we really hope you've enjoyed this. Please subscribe. Please leave a comment. Please follow us on Twitter. We could
And
use. We'll see you next time.